Kenny Troutt slept in his 1987 Oldsmobile for 3 months, washing his face in gas station bathrooms while building what would become a $3.5 billion telecommunications empire. At 38, the failed insurance salesman had exactly $127 in his checking account and creditors calling his disconnected home phone. Either he would prove his network marketing vision could revolutionize telecommunications, or he would lose everything trying to survive in post-deregulation America. In 1988, Mount Vernon, Illinois offered little hope for a high school dropout whose father abandoned the family when Kenny was 7. His mother cleaned houses for $3 an hour, while Kenny sold insurance policies door-to-door in rural farming communities, earning barely $800 per month. When telecommunications deregulation passed in 1986, Kenny saw an opportunity that traditional telecom executives completely missed. But spotting opportunity and surviving long enough to capitalize on it were different challenges entirely. Kenny's insurance agency collapsed in March 1988 when his largest client defaulted on a $15,000 policy, leaving him personally liable for the debt. The bank foreclosed on his house at 421 Oak Street on a Tuesday morning, sheriff's deputies waiting while Kenny loaded his possessions into garbage bags. That same afternoon, his wife Sharon filed for temporary separation, taking their 2 children to their mother's house in Springfield. For 47 days, Kenny lived in his car parked behind a Texaco station, surviving on convenience store sandwiches and coffee. He lost 23 pounds, his weight dropping from 165 to 142. Every morning at 5:30 a.m., he drove to the Mount Vernon Public Library, using their bathroom to shave and brush his teeth before spending 8 hours researching telecommunications deregulation in the business periodical section. The librarians knew his situation, but never asked questions when he fell asleep reading Forbes at table 7. Here's where Kenny's method became unstoppable. First, he identified that telecommunications deregulation created a massive arbitrage opportunity that established companies couldn't exploit due to their infrastructure costs. While AT&T and MCI focused on major metropolitan markets, Kenny realized rural and suburban customers were being ignored despite representing 40% of long-distance revenue. He spent 3 months mapping every small town within 200 miles of Dallas, calculating average monthly phone bills and identifying communities where residents paid premium rates for basic service. Second, he weaponized network marketing principles that traditional telecom executives dismissed as pyramid schemes. Kenny understood that personal recommendations carried more weight than corporate advertising when selling invisible services like long-distance calling. He developed a compensation structure where sales representatives earned residual commissions on customer usage, creating financial incentives for ongoing relationship management that telecom companies handled through expensive call centers. Third, he exploited regulatory loopholes that allowed resellers to purchase wholesale minutes from major carriers at rates 60 to 70% below retail pricing. While established companies were locked into their own infrastructure investments, Kenny could offer identical service quality at significantly lower prices while maintaining 40% profit margins. This regulatory arbitrage advantage would remain invisible to competitors for nearly 2 years. Fourth, he built recruitment systems that turned customers into sales representatives through financial necessity rather than opportunity pitches. In recession-hit Texas communities, Kenny offered part-time income opportunities to people facing plant closures and farm foreclosures. His recruitment presentations focused on monthly bill reductions first, income potential second, creating sustainable growth through genuine value delivery rather than speculative promises. Fifth, he automated customer acquisition through what he called bill comparison analysis, a door-to-door system where representatives showed actual phone bills to neighbors, demonstrating immediate savings. This concrete proof eliminated the trust barriers that prevented rural customers from switching to unknown companies. Representatives earned $50 per successful conversion, plus ongoing residual commissions, creating powerful economic incentives for systematic neighborhood penetration. This combination was devastating to established carriers. They were still focused on corporate accounts in urban markets, while Kenny was systematically capturing overlooked customers through personal relationships and proven savings. And that's when everything nearly collapsed again. In December 1989, just as Excel Communications was gaining momentum with 847 active customers, generating $23,000 monthly revenue, GTE filed a regulatory complaint claiming Kenny's company was operating illegally as an unlicensed carrier. The Public Utilities Commission launched an investigation that froze Excel's operations for 4 months, preventing new customer acquisitions while existing customers canceled their service out of uncertainty. Legal fees consumed $78,000, money Kenny had to borrow against future commissions while living in a one-bedroom apartment with Sharon, who had returned after seeing early Excel success. The regulatory hearing lasted 6 hours, with GTE's team of corporate lawyers arguing that Excel's network marketing structure violated telecommunications resale regulations. Kenny represented himself with a stack of legal documents he'd photocopied at the library, having spent his last $1,200 on regulatory filing fees instead of hiring an attorney. If that wasn't enough, 2 of Kenny's largest recruiting partners defected to a competing network marketing company, taking 312 sales representatives and their customer bases. Excel's monthly revenue dropped from $23,000 to $6,800 in 30 days. Kenny's checking account balance fell to negative $247, and the apartment complex served eviction notices twice in 1 month. Sharon worked double shifts at a medical billing office, while Kenny spent 18-hour days rebuilding his sales network, making recruitment calls from 6 a.m. until midnight. At his absolute lowest point in April 1990, Kenny made a decision that seemed insane to everyone who knew him. Instead of finding stable employment to pay their bills, he borrowed $85,000 against Sharon's retirement account and bet everything on rapid national expansion. He rented a 12,000-square-foot warehouse in Dallas, hired 23 full-time employees, and launched Excel operations in 6 states simultaneously. There was no backup plan, no safety net, no fallback strategy if national expansion failed. What happened next changed everything. Within 8 months, Excel's customer base exploded from 2,100 active subscribers to 47,000 active subscribers, generating $890,000 monthly revenue. Kenny's network marketing system scaled exponentially once it reached critical mass in each new market. Sales representatives were recruiting their own teams, creating geometric growth that traditional telecom companies couldn't match through corporate sales forces. By 1993, Excel served 1.3 million customers across 22 states with 85,000 active sales representatives. The company went public in 1996 at $18 per share, raising $240 million in its IPO and valuing Kenny's stake at $680 million. But the ultimate vindication came in 1998 when Verizon acquired Excel Communications for $3.5 billion, one of the largest telecommunications transactions in industry history. The regulatory agencies that had tried to shut down Kenny's operation now studied Excel's network marketing model as an innovation case study. GTE, which had filed the original complaint claiming Excel operated illegally, was eventually acquired by Verizon, the same company that bought Kenny's empire for 35 times what his entire legal defense had cost in 1989. Today, Kenny Trout's net worth exceeds $1.5 billion through diversified investments in energy, real estate, and thoroughbred racing. His WinStar farm has bred 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and he owns over 50,000 acres across Texas and Kentucky. The man who once slept behind a gas station now employs over 1,200 people across multiple industries. From a disconnected phone and a foreclosed house to building one of telecommunications history's most profitable exits, Kenny proved that systematic execution can turn regulatory disruption into generational wealth when others see only chaos.